bum ba ba bum bum ba bum ba 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 dum ba ba dum ba ba dum ba ba dum ba bum. Hello everybody. Hello. Welcome to Monday mini medicine card readings. I apologize for the jostling around as I get my camera situated. There we go. I think that's gonna work. Awesome. Woo! Hello and happy Monday. Happy day after equinox. I need to actually get my cards out. Again, a little bit late for my own party. So, come on in, say hi, join the circle. Let me know you're there. Let's see, what else do I need? Da, da, da. Okay. Just getting set up. Come on in, make yourself at home. We are going to be pulling some cards. Hold on one moment. Ha ha! And we're back. Hello, hello. How is everybody? I am Patrick, your friendly neighborhood shaman, and we are going to pull some cards. If you are new here, this is something we do every Monday night. Except for a couple of weeks when I was out of town and stuff. We've been doing this for 2 years. So, yay! Huzzah! All right, so what we do here, I have this lovely, wonderful deck of cards called the Medicine Card Deck. With each card, it's not just spiders and ants and insects. There's turtles and all kinds of different animals. And so what we're gonna do after I light my candle and smudge my cards is I'm gonna pull 3 cards. Come on, there you go. And then your job, your mission, if you choose to accept it, is to choose a number between 1 and 3, and whichever card corresponds to your number, that is the animal guide that has chosen to walk with you this week, or fly or swim or whatever. So come on in, say hi, let me know you're here. I no longer trust the little number at the corner of the screen that Facebook says is there, because it just don't. So come on in, say hi, thank you for coming, welcome, welcome. And if you've been here before and you know someone who might benefit from this, feel free to tag them in the comments. And let's see, I want to plug this in so we don't run out of power halfway through. Hello everyone. One of these days I'm going to figure out something better than just keep repeating that. Come on in, welcome, come on in, welcome. So, we just got back from Crescent Moon Gifts in Tacoma. Doing readings, and so I'm going to, I lit some sage, I'm going to smudge my cards, clear them of any energy they may have picked up along the way. All right. So come on in. Welcome. Thank you for coming. Hey everybody. Awesome. I see a few people that I know, a couple I don't. Welcome. Come on in. Thank you for joining me. I really mean it when I say it means a lot to me, because like I said, I've been doing this for 2 years now, and I wouldn't have been doing it this long if it wasn't something I enjoyed, and it wouldn't have been enjoyable if there weren't anybody to watch it. So I really appreciate your presence. Thank you for joining me. It's kind of a mutual win-win kind of thing. I get to do these readings. You get a little bit of free guidance. That's what it's all about, is a win-win. All right. So again, if you're new here, if you've never been here before, what we are doing is I'm going to pull 3 cards from the medicine card deck, and your job is to choose a number between 1 and 3, or you can choose a couple numbers or all three numbers. And then I'm going to read 1 card at a time, and whichever card corresponds to the number you chose. That is the animal totem who has chosen to walk through this week with you to lend you their strength, their medicine, their special qualities. And if we have time at the end, if I don't talk too long, we might even do a guided shamanic journey so that you can actually go and meet the animal who is guiding you this week and get their personal message right from their own mouths. All right, here we go. Choose your numbers. Aha! Awesome. All right, my friends. The cards are pulled. So, if number 1 is the card you chose, and we're back. Am I back? Yay, I'm back. It says I'm live. I'm still live. I turned off, I had my alarm set. I don't know if you could hear it or not, but it was the Indiana Jones theme. That's what I wake up to every morning. That way life is an adventure. Anyway, so number 1. That was kind of interesting. So number 1, I pulled up crow, and then my alarm went off. Bum, ba-da-bum, bum, ba-bum. And just like Indiana Jones, crow medicine, part of crow medicine is about following the shiny things, looking for the shiny things, collecting the shiny things. Not because of any intrinsic value, but because of how they make you feel. It's about following the shiny things. Because that is part of our compass. That is part of how you know you're on the right path. Because those things that shine a little bit brighter than the other things. And I'm not just talking about objects, right? I'm not talking about hoarding, collectibles or whatever. I'm talking about people, situations, hobbies, those things that you love to do, those things that make your own heart shine, right? The shine you see in something else is just the reflection of your own heart shining. Does that make sense? Because everything out there is a reflection of in here. So when you see something that attracts your attention, that is shiny, that you just can't do without, that's how you know that is your path. A lot of religion, like fundamental religions and stuff, tell you to steer away from those things, but that is like exactly opposite what we're supposed to do, because we have been given a divinely orchestrated GPS system and a navigational system. And just like Joseph Campbell says, we're supposed to follow our bliss. Whatever shines, whatever feels lighter. You know, I've mentioned before one of my favorite authors, Martha Beck, and how she talks about the shackles on and the shackles off feeling. And if anything ever feels like the shackles just went on, you know, I watch when I do that, I'm actually like curving over my back, my shoulders, tucking in to protect myself. That's not freedom. That's not enlightenment. But if you feel like the shackles go off, it's like, your heart lightens up. You open up. Whatever makes you feel like the shackles go on, that's a no. Whatever makes you feel like the shackles came off, that's a yes. That's the shiny. That's the feelings to follow. That's how you know you're going in the right direction. Now, that doesn't mean, you know, in the Disney-fied version of life that it's all smooth sailing once you find, you know, the North Star, the star to guide your journey. It just means that that is your bearings, and that once you lock on to that trajectory, there's nothing that there. How do I put it? The promise of I'm trying to think how to put this into the right words and the right. I think too much when I'm trying to do these. I try to make sure that I'm saying it in a way that everybody understands or that won't take offense or anything like that, or that fits with what I've said before. But when you have that North Star, you know your way home. That's your guide. There's nothing that can sway you from your path. Having connection to that North Star makes every obstacle, every challenge that much more bearable, because you know there is another side of whatever it is. Whatever challenges you have to go through to get there are worthwhile and are just stepping stones to help you grow closer to that home destination, if that makes sense to you. So the other thing about crow, they are like super intelligent. They're one of the most intelligent birds. I've heard them compared to anywhere from a 4 to 7-year-old child. And it seems like that age is constantly going upward as they do more testing. But what crows are really good at are noticing patterns, noticing how things work together, puzzles, right? In fact, that's one of the ways that they test their intelligence, is they create these long, elaborate puzzles that they have to go through all these different things and, you know, push certain buttons, pull certain levers to get a payoff at the end. And so it's like this putting off that immediate gratification, like knowing that what's at the end of this puzzle is worth solving the puzzle. And so they see how things work. They see the patterns. And to illustrate that, I saw a show, I think it was like a National Geographic type show, about crows. And there was a a group of crows in England somewhere that actually had figured out the traffic light system. And you probably heard me mention this before, but the crows realized that when the lights turned green, they could go fly over and drop nuts into the road, and the cars would drive over them and break the nuts open. And they would wait till the light turned red, and they would swoop down and eat the nuts that were cracked open by the cars driving over them. Then the lights would turn green, and they'd go off, find more nuts, and drop the nuts in the middle of the road. So it's kind of using the system to get what you need. I don't want to say, manipulate. It's not manipulation or anything like that. It's just seeing how things can work together to further you on your path. Out of balance, crow medicine can be that rebel who just keeps banging their head against the wall, trying to change the system and just banging against, getting nowhere. Crow is about seeing how things work, realizing, ooh, I need to go over there, and if I just, apply this and this and this, boom, there I go, So it's paying attention to the patterns of life, and metaphorically that can be paying attention to the synchronicities that are happening around you and allowing those to be your navigation. You navigate according to the synchronicities, the coincidences, working with the flow of the system, not against it. What else, little crow? I was feeling like there was something else Crow wanted to say tonight. Crow is also very deeply connected to family and community. You hardly ever see a crow all by itself, and if you do, you can rest assured there are other crows nearby or within cawing distance. And like out here in Seattle, actually south of Seattle, at a certain time every night, it's like this river of crows flies over as all the crows in the area gather together and fly up to wherever they roost at night. And then come morning, they kind of disperse in groups. But where you find one crow, you always find other ones. They're very community-oriented. They're tight-knit, which is part of why they're so intelligent, because the more complex of a society you have, the more important to have clear language and communication and higher thought forms. So if you're feeling like you're alone, okay, so here's what's coming to me. You see in the picture, you've got Crow and he's looking at his shadow in the water. And okay, I'm just going with the spirits on this. It's like looking at your shadow, not knowing, because Crow is black just like the shadow is black. And if you're out of balance with Crow medicine, you can mistake your shadow for who you really are. You can lose sight of your identity. You might think you're alone. You might feel isolated, but that is the furthest thing from the truth. If you have Crow medicine, you are loved. You are held. You are taken care of. You have others that care for you, that uplift you, that hold you, whether you know it or not. And so one of the messages with Crow is to okay, this is what my guides are saying. Rather than looking for your identity outside of you, the reflection outside of you, close your eyes, go within, and feel your heart. That is always who you are. We can get lost in the outside world. We can get lost in the shadows of duality in the outside world. But like I said at the beginning, look for the shiny things with the full realization that what's shiny to you isn't shiny to someone else. And it's shiny because it's reflecting the shine, the glow in your own heart. And that's how you find your way home. Don't get caught by the shadows. Don't overthink things. And know that you are not alone. You are never alone. Never. Okay? So that was number 1. I hope that wasn't confusing. I feel like I kind of went a little off track there, but if you ever have any questions, if I say something during one of these and you want clarification or something doesn't quite fit or doesn't quite make sense to you, please feel free to message me or ask questions in the comments, and I will, even if after the video, I will come back and I will answer them for you. My purpose here is not to confuse you, but to empower you. And so if I'm doing the opposite of what I'm trying to do, it's counterproductive. I want you to walk away from this video feeling more empowered or enlightened, or at least a little bit lighter, like the shackles off, than when you came in. So just to say that out loud. All right, number 2. If 2 was your card, you got the Frog. Frog is about cleansing. If this is your card, chances are there's some sort of purging, some kind of cleansing going on in your life right now. It's like anything that's extraneous to who you are is being washed away because you are ready to step into your purity, to your authenticity of who you truly are, right? And with that, you can't have, that's like I was mentioning with Crow and being distracted by the shadows of duality and three-dimensional reality. This is about totally purifying of that. It's, in shamanism, we talk about becoming the hollow bone, which means that the shaman becomes the hollow bone through which spirit moves. So we become the hands and the eyes and the voice of spirit. And it's basically the better you get at shamanism, it's just the better you get at moving aside and letting spirit take over. And so in order for your best self to move through you, remember you're a spiritual being having a human experience. And to become in that integrity, that authenticity, that purity of who you are, you have to become like that hollow bone. It's kind of like you have to channel yourself, if that makes sense, like channeling your higher self. And so the more, it's like, and as you go along your spiritual path, you know, I was going to say it's not all light and love, but it actually is, but it doesn't necessarily feel that way all the time. But the more light and love you have moving through you, the whole point is not to achieve something that you don't have. It's to uncover what is already there. That is the essence of Frog. It's cleaning off all the crap that has been burying your true identity, your true, pure, divine light and love, and letting that rise to the surface. The image that comes to my mind, if you've ever watched the movie Spirited Away, one of the Ghibli films, they're in this the little girl, and she ends up working in this bathhouse for spirits. And so they have these big tubs of water, and they have these salts that come down in different scents and everything. And one day, this just gross, muddy, big glob of a creature comes shuffling, just kind of rolling in. And everyone's like, no, don't let him in. But the girl, the human girl who was working there, lets him in and starts bringing in all the water and all the salts and the herbs and all the other stuff. And as it's getting washed away, long story short, it turns out that this big, hulking, muddy creature was this tiny, old river spirit who had been covered over by all this pollution and bikes and everything like that. And so it's about washing away all of the crap that has collected upon us our entire lives, whether that is addictions, objects, items, people, relationships, situations, whatever it is that takes us away from our pure self. It's time for those to go. Because Frog is so connected to the environment. He is so sensitive. Frog is kind of, you could say, the patron saint of empaths. Because he basically is one with the water he lives in. He doesn't actually drink the water. The water just kind of osmosis through his skin. So he has to live in pure water. And, you know, Frog is the first one that scientists look at if they think the environment is out of whack. Because Frog is the first one to show signs of some kind of ecological imbalance, like when they discovered acid rain in the 80s, etc. You know, they were finding frogs who were having 3 legs and different stuff like that. So Frog needs pure water. The thing is the key to Frog medicine is that if Frog is not in pure water, he will hop until he finds it. You are not a victim, okay? If something is not right, if something does not resonate with you, if something does not feed you, again, if it feels like the shackle's going on, then let it go. Walk away. Frog will keep hopping until he finds pure water. In fact, there is a Native American saying that it's not so much where you find water, you'll find frog, but that where you find frog, you find water. If Frog is there, you can trust, well, I don't know how true that is in today's world because there's so much pollution, but way back when, if there was a frog in the water, you could probably be safer drinking that water than water that had no frogs. That's the idea anyway. And so You have it in you to pursue the purity of heart, you know. I'm a little bit tired tonight. I apologize if I'm a little slow on the uptake, if I'm talking really slow or having long pauses. Um, but this is a weird metaphor, but this is what's coming into my brain right now. Um, if you think pure heart, okay, you have a pure heart. You have an innocence, an essence to you that is pure, that is invulnerable. It cannot be harmed. And the image that came to my mind was Sleeping Beauty. And you think about the pure heart of frog. In full disclosure and transparency, I have no idea where this analogy is going. So you have Sleeping Beauty asleep, this pure being, pure light, pure love, pure beauty, surrounded by this bramble, these thick, black, thorny thickets. And then comes Prince Charming, hacking away, trying to uncover that purity. It's like the feminine and the masculine, if you think of them as part of the same being. Your heart, that purity of your heart is underneath, and the masculine part of you is part that is uncovering all that gunk, all the stuff that was put there originally to protect the pure heart. As we're raised, you know, we build up different walls, different defenses to protect that purity, because we don't get the protection from our families, from society that we should. And so we build up a lot of things to protect ourselves. And at some point, especially in our spiritual growth, those things that protected us suddenly become something that is holding us back. And so we must dismantle it. And that's where you get so your feminine, the heart, the purity, you know, it's goddess is the purity, the purity, the creator. The masculine is what gives form to the feminine, that is inspired by the feminine. And so it's the masculine, the action, that must uncover that purity. So there you go, Sleeping Beauty. That pure part of you cannot be harmed. It's still sleeping. It's just awaiting to be awakened. So don't be afraid. Okay, and here's another little bit. You know, a lot of times, especially when I'm doing readings for people and such, people come to me like, what's my purpose? What am I supposed to be doing? And they're waiting for a sign from the universe to tell them what they're supposed to be doing. And I'm like, move, leap. And the universe will support you. The universe is waiting for you to leap in the direction of your dreams so that it can support you in fulfilling those dreams. The universe is like a giant GPS system. It can't take you anywhere unless you plug in the destination, until you set the intentions, until you give it the directions of where you want to go, what you want to be, what you want to do. It can't tell you how to get there. It's waiting for you to make a decision. It's waiting for you to start moving. Then it can tell you, okay, left turn, okay, go a mile, turn right, and then it will give you step-by-step instructions on how to get there. It's not going to give you the whole picture at once. It might give you a glimpse of what the destination looks like, but you're not going to get the whole thing at once. You're going to get step-by-step. But the important part, like an old friend of mine used to say, it's easier to steer a car if it's moving. If it's sitting still, you can't steer it, but if it's moving, it's easier to steer. So Frog comes along to tell you to leap. Take a leap. Whatever your dreams are, whatever those shiny things are that are catching your attention, leap toward them, and the universe will carry you. The universe will make sure there is some place for you to land. Okay? Because you deserve to be that pure essence. The world needs you to be your authentic, integral self, right? The more awakened, passionate, authentic people there are on the planet, the better off we all are. And so many things, so many challenges and problems would go away if we all followed our hearts. They would just overnight disappear, because almost every single problem, challenge in the world is from people listening to their minds rather than their hearts, listening to greed, thinking logistically, trying to control rather than surrender into the glory that they already are. Okay? You are glorious. Sing. Sing. Ribbit, ribbit, ribbit. Okay. I mentioned I was a little tired, right? I get a little punchy when I'm tired. So, anyway, to carry this thread even further, number 3, if 3 was your card, you got salmon. Salmon is about coming home. When salmon shows up, it's a guarantee that you are going to get where you're headed. And because you're guaranteed to get there, everything that happens between this point and arrival is an adventure. You're gonna get through no matter what. I sometimes tell the example when I was a kid. I'm the oldest of 5 kids, and so it always felt like the responsibility of watching over the others fell on my shoulders. Tiara, wanted to know how to know what card you have. I told everyone at the beginning to choose a number 1, 2, or 3, and then whichever number, whatever card happened to be the number that you chose, that was your card. But if you have not chosen a number, I would say all 3 cards are your cards. So, and if you've missed anything at the beginning, I am going to share this video to my Facebook page and also upload it to my YouTube channel, Perching Wolf Studios YouTube channel, so you can rewatch the video again to see what you missed. But if you didn't have a number, then I would say all 3 cards are for you. Okay? And there's definitely a thread passing through all of them. So number 3 again is salmon, and like I was saying about getting home, getting where you're going. When I was a kid, I was, oldest of 5, and one of the things I loved every year was going to the Minnesota State Fair. That's where I was raised. Biggest state fair in the country. It was amazing. And at the same time, I was terrified because I had 4 younger kids to kind of watch and make sure nobody wandered. I always walked behind everyone to make sure I could tell that, I could make sure no one wandered off, made sure everyone was safe. And way before I knew anything about manifesting, about law of attraction, about creative visualization, I stumbled upon this thing and I realized that if I could in the morning on our way there, if I could picture myself in bed that night, if I could feel my face on the pillow and feel the blankets pulled up around my shoulders, I knew I was going to be home and everything was going to be okay. And when I felt that, then I knew, I still watched out for everyone, but it wasn't as, I wasn't as like anxious and hyper vigilant. That's the word I was looking for. Wasn't so hyper vigilant to make sure everyone was, because I knew that no matter what happened that day, I would be home safe and snug in my bed. When salmon comes along, it's an assurance that you're getting home. Whatever that means, you're getting home. And so every bend of the river, rather than being something to dread, becomes an adventure. No matter what lies around the next bend, you are going to get through it. One way or another, you're going to come through it. And every time we come through a challenge, no matter how traumatic or how hard or difficult or easy, we grow. So every challenge is a stepping stone to our higher expression. And so everything along the way to our spawning grounds is there to help us grow even more, and it again brings up that saying I always butcher from Einstein about the most important decision you will ever make is whether you live in a friendly universe or a hostile one. They're mutually exclusive. If you live in a friendly universe, the universe is on your side. Excuse me, geez, pardon me. The universe is on your side, and it's going to do everything to support you in getting home. Now you might think, well, but salmon fights the current and is like so rough and it's tough on them, and a lot of them don't make it, and a lot of them, they're just like battered beyond repair. But salmon actually don't fight the main current of the river, at least most of the time. Salmon actually ride the little ebb flows, the little currents that go reverse, or the eddies, the whirlpools, and that kind of thing. Those are what salmon follow. And so another point with salmon is everyone else is going downstream and you're going home. Your spiritual path, you're going home. You're going toward your true self, right? So to everyone who is unaware, unawakened, whatever terms you want to use, you're going to look like you're going backwards. It's going to make no sense. I have a picture of it? I don't, right here. I drew a comic. I'm a cartoonist as well as a shaman. And I have a comic I drew with me jumping off, kind of like the Fool card in the Tarot, jumping off the cliff with my buckskin fringe jacket, my coonskin cap, just like Daniel Boone. And there's a saying by Epictetus, who is a Greek philosopher, that says basically, if you're going to improve, be content to be thought stupid and foolish. And it's like that other saying by Nietzsche about those who couldn't hear the music thought those who were dancing were insane. I know I got neither of those quotes exactly right, but the heart of what they mean is, I hope, intact. But if you are heading for home, know that the universe is going to help you. You are going to see pathways that other people don't. So never give up listening to your heart in order to listen to someone else's advice. Your heart knows the path. Follow the shiny things. And as you do that and you ride those undercurrents and the eddies, and you know, the salmon doesn't just get a good running start and jump up the waterfalls. There are whirlpools at the base of all waterfalls. That's what they hit, and they slingshot up over the falls. Spirit is giving them a boost. When you're heading home, when you're following your heart and your own navigation, Spirit will carry you. The other thing about salmon, rather than having pity for this poor fish who gets battered to heck on his way home, I believe it's in Norway. It's one of the, like Scandinavia, someplace. In one of their languages, the root word for salmon is the same root word as somersault, because they would see these fish leaping out of the water, up the waterfalls, and they would watch their kids tumbling and somersaulting on the lawns, and they equated those energies. So they thought these fish were just joyful. And the thing is, just this past spawning season, I had a nice little chat with a salmon. I was down at the river where I go to do pipe ceremony, and I was sitting on this big old rock, the river, like right in the water, and this big old salmon, my phone's not big enough to show you how big it actually was over, kind of sitting in the still part of the river. And when I came and sat down, he came over just like a little puppy and just sat underneath the rock where I was sitting. And so I kind of chatted with him. I kind of connected with him, felt into him, and he was joyous. He was enthusiastic. That is the word I use now for salmon, is enthusiasm, gumption. He was so excited to be going home. Nothing could stop him, even currents of the river flowing against him. He had so much energy and so much stick-to-itiveness and just, enthusiasm, that nothing was going to keep him from going home. It was kind of like that hold my beer situation, right? Joyful, amazing fish. Of course, in reality, not all of them make it to the spawning points, right? But I also connected, a couple of years ago, there was a salmon I found on the edge of the river, dead. And I sprinkled him with tobacco and cornmeal and blessed him and thanked him for his journey. And I said, I'm sorry you didn't make it home. And right away, the spirit of the salmon was right there. He says, we all make it home. They all make it to where they're going. And salmon is such, you just think, oh, they go and they spawn and they reproduce, and then they go back to the ocean and like you think like the river is all that they, all the benefit they have, but the ones that get washed up on shore of the river that then decompose into the earth, there is enough nutrients in one salmon to nurture an entire forest. It's still part of the cycle. It's still part of the harmony of all life. Even the ones that don't make it to the spawning ground get exactly where they're supposed to be, and they still give of themselves and nurture the earth, and give to all of the wildlife in that area. So that's how powerful they are. Since we're not going to have time, I apologize, we're not going to have time for the guided shamanic journey tonight. But if you go back to last week's, if you look on my Perching with Studios YouTube channel and you look at last week's video, if you go through to the part where you see me pull out my drum, you can go to that part. You can do the same guided journey and just with the intention of meeting whichever animal this week came to you. Or even better, just open-ended, which animal has a message for me right now. But anyway, since we're not going to have time for that, there's one more point that's wanting to come through with salmon. And from, this deck of cards was created by a Native American woman, but the Celtic view of salmon is that salmon is the oldest and wisest of animals. He is the animal that has been here the longest, and he is the wisest of animals. So if this is your card, also know that going home can also be reaching back to the wisdom of your ancestors, the wisdom of the earth before humans, that divine, feminine, deep, lush, earth goddess wisdom rising to the surface. Yeah. So that is the cards for this week. Again, number 1 was crow, number 2 was frog, and number 3 was salmon. And like Tiara, like I said, they all three fit together. There's usually, I do the individual card readings each week, but honestly, if you're watching the entire video, one card that you chose might speak to you more, but there's always a message in all the other ones. If you're hearing the readings, if you're hearing the messages, those messages are for you as well. So thank you again for watching. I really appreciate your presence. I look forward to this every week. Like I said, I've been doing this for 2 years now, since toward the beginning of the pandemic, when I got laid off. I started doing this to kind of give people a little bit of extra guidance to get through the week, to face the unknown, the unprecedented times. And you know what? We still need extra guidance. So I see myself doing this for the foreseeable future. And so thank you for coming along. If you've been here for that whole 2 years, or if you're new, welcome and thank you. Please share this video. And, if you know someone that may benefit, you can tag them in the comments. Come back and see me next week. Bring your friends. I also have donation, my PayPal link in the description. So this is my full-time job now, and this is totally free. But if you feel so moved and want to contribute a little bit more, I so appreciate it. I'm so grateful. Bye, Tara. It was nice to have you along. Thank you. And know that if you enjoyed this too, that I do individual readings. Please consider checking out my website. Look at my website, perchingwolfstudios.net. And you can arrange a reading through there. You can arrange different shamanic healings. Look on my website, see what I offer, to see what might resonate with you. I also do mentoring and shamanic coaching. What else do I do? It's like there's so many things that it's hard to like put a label on them. But even if you just want to talk to a shaman, set up a session and we'll talk and give you shamanic perspective on whatever is going on. I can talk to my guides. I have my guides can talk to your guides. We'll do lunch. Yeah, so thank you again. I'm trying to just going through the Rolodex in my head to make sure I've said everything I needed to. I think that is it. So thank you again so much. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful week. Please ask these wonderful, wonderful spirit guides for their help. They are here to help. It is their joy to do so. Just ask and they will help. So anyway, I will see you soon. Please come back next week and see me. You might want to check me out on Wednesday night at 7 o'clock. I do a sacred pipe ceremony that I mentioned earlier. I do set sacred space for people to come together and connect with spirit, send our intentions and our prayers to Great Spirit. It is the most sacred space, the most sacred ceremony I know of, and I'm just overjoyed to be able to share it with others. So please join me then, and if not, I hope to see you next Monday. Bring your friends. Have a wonderful, wonderful week, and know until next time that I love you, that I see you, that I honor you. Have a wonderful, wonderful week, everybody. I'll see you soon. Go shining. Bye.